Welcome to episode 108 of Build Your House Yourself University by BYHYU. I'm Michelle Nelson, your host and fellow student, and together we'll learn the basics of home design and construction and demystify the building process so we can ask the right questions and build quality dream homes with or without a general contractor. This week I want to give you a quick update on the status of my project. My structural engineer finally completed my foundation plan. And I got the official plot plan done. The foundation plan is a drawing that shows the location and size of the foundation, plus the materials needed to construct it. The plan also details the different parts of the foundation, including the footings, piers, foundation walls, and supporting beams. It took about 8 weeks to get that foundation plan done. That is much longer than usual, but I live in a small city and my structural engineer is very much in demand. He's one of the best engineers in the area, so he's juggling many different projects. If I had it to do all over again, I would probably go with someone who's good, but not so much in demand. A few days after I got the foundation plan, I met with one of the foundation contractors who was recommended to me by my structural engineer. This is one of the foundation contractors who will actually bid on my project. We met on my lot, and I learned that he recently did the foundation for a new house that's just a few doors down from my site. That house sits on a lot that has soil very similar to mine. Rocky. Really rocky. In some places, the soil is pure bedrock. Just to let you know, a few years ago before I purchased the lot, I did get a soils engineer to test the soil to make sure that the lot was buildable. And it's buildable, but it's rocky. And you might wonder why I chose a rocky lot. And the answer is because it's a nice-sized lot in a suburban neighborhood, so not too far out in the sticks, and it has a nice view. Anyway, I asked the foundation contractor if he thought the reinforced slab foundation that my structural engineer designed was the best solution for the site. And I asked if he could think of any changes that could save money without compromising the safety or quality of the foundation. Not that I don't trust my structural engineer, because I do. But structural engineers aren't typically thinking about budget, so I just wanted my foundation guy's opinion. Remember, that's one of my favorite tricks for getting good money-saving tips. Ask the subs who are bidding on your project what suggestions they have to make the project more economical without significantly decreasing quality. The reinforced slab foundation that my structural engineer designed has a continuous footing all along the periphery of the entire foundation. The footing, remember, sits lower than the main part of the foundation, and the footing distributes the weight of the slab and the house. Take a look at the show notes if you don't remember what a footing looks like. The footing in my foundation design would be created by digging a continuous trench along the entire periphery of the slab and then filling the continuous trench with concrete. That footing would be like an outline of the slab that sits lower in the ground than the main part of the slab. Digging a continuous trench for the footing is a typical plan, and it would be very economical if I had regular soft soil. But since my lot is rocky, regular digging is not really possible. Drilling and hammering that rocky soil is what would be needed for the footing. And the more drilling and hammering you do, the more expensive the job will be. So what the foundation guy suggested was to do a slab foundation with footings made of drill piers. Drill, D-R-I-L-L, piers, P-I-E-R-S. Drill piers, meaning instead of drilling or hammering the footing as a continuous trench around the entire outer edge of the foundation, the footings would be made of multiple vertical piers that would be drilled and placed at intervals several inches apart. That would save significantly on the drilling and hammering bill, and it would save time on the construction of the foundation. But it would be just as stable and safe as a foundation made with a continuous footing. The show notes will also have an image of a drill pier foundation. Although I know very little about foundations, the drill pier foundation idea made sense to me, so I asked my structural engineer about it. I told him that the foundation guy, who he recommended, thought that a drill pier foundation might be a better design for my project because it would save money and time. I told him that the foundation contractor had recently done a foundation just around the corner from my lot that had soil similar to mine. My engineer said, a drill pier foundation. Yeah, that might make more sense. He said he would call the foundation contractor and chat with him about the specifics of his idea and that he would probably make some modifications to my foundation plan. Yes, asking about an alternative foundation plan is taking more time, and I won't be getting started with construction quite as soon as I had hoped. But I'd rather spend more time in the planning and design phase of my house as opposed to spending more time to construct a more complicated, more expensive foundation. This whole thing made me kind of wonder what would have happened if I let a builder handle my entire project without being involved with the construction decisions. Would a builder have asked the foundation contractor for money-saving design ideas? Or would he just have moved forward with the engineer's more expensive, more complicated design? I don't know, and it probably depends on the builder, but I'm glad that I actually had the wherewithal to ask the foundation contractor questions and to ask the engineer's opinion about those suggestions. So at this point, I'm waiting to hear back from the structural engineer about the foundation modifications. And I was also told by the foundation contractor that I'll have to do a little bit more dirt work and excavation to prepare my lot for construction. So I won't be getting started building quite as soon as I'd hoped. But since my last project update, I've also gotten the plot plan completed. The plot plan is a drawing that shows the exact location of the house and deck on the land as it relates to the property lines. The plot plan will include any structures that will be on the property, including swimming pools, decks, porches, garages, any structures on the property. The plot plan in my county needed to be officially stamped by an engineer or surveyor, and I got a civil engineer who actually originally surveyed the property to do the plot plan. It took about a week for the civil engineer to complete and stamp the official plot plan. One bit of good news is that the house design was approved by the Property Owners Association. As soon as I got that stamped plot plan, I sent it along with drawings of the home's exterior elevations and floor plan to the POA. The POA has to approve the house design before I can apply for a building permit. My POA doesn't have too many strict design criteria. I think they mainly want to make sure that the new houses aren't going to stick out like sore thumbs in the neighborhood. So no ultra-contemporary architecture, no tiny homes, no weird colors or weird materials. Just a few days after dropping off my house design documents at the house of one of the POA members, I got word by text message that my house was approved. They didn't ask for any modification, so I was happy about that. This week, since the actual house design is finished and approved, I'm going to meet with a home energy rating company so my home's features can be put into a software program and the house can be modeled to figure out the most appropriate energy efficient features that should be included in the design. Features like overhangs, the type of insulation, the type of windows, and the appropriately sized HVAC system. I'll let you know how that turns out on the next project update. So we're making progress. It's slow progress, but it's progress. So I'm grateful. I'm also grateful for all of you who listen every week, and I'm especially thankful for the really well-written reviews sent in by Wukoa98, AppleFam14, and British Lit Chick. Thank you so much for giving back to the podcast by letting everyone on Apple Podcasts know that you find the show helpful. Those reviews also really encourage me. So thank you. Well, that's all I have for you this week. I hope you'll join me again next week for another episode of Build Your House Yourself University. BYHYU. Please remember that the purpose of this podcast is simply to educate and inform. It's not a substitute for professional advice. The information that you hear is based only on the opinions, research, and experiences of my guests and myself. That information might be incomplete, it's subject to change, and it may not apply to your project. In addition, building codes and requirements vary from region to region, so always consult a professional about specific recommendations for your home.